got to get your thoughts on what happened earlier in the week. And surely you're aware of this. Jerry Jones, Cowboys owner and GM, otherwise known as Jerry, on 105.3 The Fan, the flagship station with RJ and Choppy. And it got more than a little choppy. And Jerry has taken all the arrows over the years. I mean, that's the thing I love about him. He'll talk about anything. You ask him a tough question, he'll give you an answer. But he really got upset with them when they dug into basically, why didn't you do more this offseason to improve the team? It seems like it's a big deal down there. I got to get your reaction to Jerry kind of uncharacteristically getting a little miffed about questions he received.
Yeah, I think probably in hindsight he regrets doing that. Just how he said it. I can replace you guys, that sort of a thing. That's not really what he wants to say if he really reflects back on it. He does 3 press conferences a week, so that's something that he's going to have to deal with. And sometimes those press conferences that we all know are a lot harder when you're losing. You have a tough loss like they did, and I'm sure he just got emotional about it. There's a lot of different things going on with the organization with how they want to sign some players for the long term. And they were saying, okay, hey, we got to make sure that we have money enough to sign CeeDee Lamb and money enough to sign Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons, all those kinds of things. So I think that in some ways made it harder for them to sign some guys. But when you see Derrick Henry having the success that he's having, it's easy to say, boy, why don't we go get that guy? We could have gotten him for this amount of money and all that. And, when you have a tough loss, sometimes that might strike a chord with you. And I think when he pulls back, I'm sure he probably isn't, real happy with how he handled that. And he'll make sure he smooths that over at some point.
Oh, it's going to be interesting when he's back on there next Tuesday. If he's back on there, he does a different show on Friday. He does the morning show on Tuesday. And it really became a big deal. But credit to RJ and Choppy, or Sean and RJ, I'm sorry, RJ Choppy and Sean Sharif, they kept going. I listened to the whole thing. They did not back down. I mean, you could sense a little of the, we're tiptoeing down the hallway toward the Wizard of Oz and how they were framing the questions once it was clear he was upset. But they didn't stop. They kept going.
Yeah, and they have to do their jobs, right? They follow the Cowboys and they cover them and they do these shows, and it's an all-day thing down here, right? It's Cowboys 24/7. So they have to continue to do that as journalists, but those are the tough situations. And that's where they are right now. But, the thing you got to remember about the Cowboys is last year, if you remember going into the bye, they had the tough loss to San Francisco and they had a reset and they came back. And to me, they were different on offense when they came out of that bye. They were much more aggressive down the field. They got some players back and they played well for the balance of the season. And that's really what they're probably hoping to do right now. The big issue is they still have guys who are out, significant guys. DeMarcus Lawrence is a fantastic football player, and to have him out for a couple months at least, and Micah Parsons, as impactful a defensive guy as there is in the league, Deron Bland, all those interceptions he's taken back for touchdowns. When you miss those guys, they make a difference, and we see it every week in the NFL, and every coach, I've said it a million times, next man up. Next man up. The next guy, that has to be your mentality as a coach and a player. We have to figure out how we can win this game without those guys. But they make a difference. Those star players make a difference. There's a reason they make all that money. And they have some really impactful guys on defense who are out. The question is, can they survive that? Can they survive their absence here? It's a big question because they have a tough stretch of games coming up.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.